What's up everybody, it's July 1st, 2016 and it's time for today's episode of Level Up, our daily video game news show where we bring you the latest and greatest stories from within the industry. And today we're kicking off with some more Pokemon news. Yes, we know that Pokemon Sun and Moon are coming to the 3DS later on this year, November 23rd to be exact. But we have seen a new trailer now which has revealed the next batch of Pokemon that we will be getting in this game. Now at the moment the trailer is only in Japanese, so we don't really know, and by we I mean me, not knowing the full details of these Pokemon because surprisingly enough I don't speak Japanese. But you can see the trailer, you'll see it running right here, and we were introduced to a variety of new Pokemon. First up we kind of see this weird bird thing that has like a, almost like a giant masked head that they seem to use. It reminded me a little bit of the Crash Bandicoot mask for some reason, but that was kind of like weird. And then we moved on to that, and then we saw like what looked like a square Caterpie, which was weird, and then that evolved into some like fly with pinsars and stuff. And then next up we saw a dragon, which looked like it had dreadlocks, kind of reminded me a little bit of Dougal from the Magic Roundabout, if anyone's old enough to remember that. Then we got what is like a fish Pokemon, but it was absolutely fabulous in pinks and purples and all of that. And then there was like a weird mosquito kind of thing. And then the big one that people got very, very excited about was one that looked a little bit like a Pikachu hybrid. He was kind of like effectively like a fat round Pikachu. It was in grey, so you see him, mousy, did have the electrical powers that Pikachu is famous for. And then the final Pokemon we saw was like a black and green snake type. But when it evolved into some sort of like weird badass transformer. I had no idea what was going on. It didn't look anything like what you would expect from a snake, but it did look pretty cool. And when you're seeing them battle, you see them battling kind of maybe more familiar Pokemon. And I'm really excited to find out more of these guys. Haven't played a Pokemon game to completion in years, and I think this might be the time where I actually finally jump back in and play some more Pokemon. So like I said, November 23rd on 3DS for that one. Look forward to it. Moving on, we have some news about State of Decay. We saw State of Decay 2 was revealed at Microsoft's E3 press conference earlier, well actually no, technically last month now we're into July. But for those of you that maybe haven't played the game, you've got an opportunity now to go out there and buy the first State of Decay. Yes, it's been over on the PC and 360 originally as digital versions, and then it got ported to the Xbox One as the Survival Edition. They're now actually going to be releasing the Survival Edition in a real retail form, so physical edition for the PC. So if you're a fan of having discs, if you haven't quite bought into the Steam Enterprise yet, then you can go and pick it up on disc right now. It'll include all the DLC and everything. So for 20 quid, you can't really go too far wrong. It is a pretty good game, and it'll give you a good idea of what you're getting in for when State of Decay 2 comes, probably late 2017. We haven't heard anything yet, but I would imagine it's not any earlier than that. Moving on, and we're going to talk a little bit now about some Gran Turismo. So we know Gran Turismo Sport is coming this year to the PS4, but the creator of the series has actually been talking about the PS3 when they released Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6. And funnily enough, Kazunori Yamauchi has actually been saying that the PS3 was an absolute nightmare to develop for. So this coming from an individual who's effectively a first-party studio at Sony, kind of having a go or critiquing the hardware from the last generation. We obviously knew about that cell power processor. It did seem to be known that it was a lot harder to develop for, and that's why quite a few of the third-party games at least looked better on the Xbox 360 than the PS3. So it appears it was also in-house. They're saying it was a nightmare, and basically the kind of things that they wanted to achieve they couldn't do on the PS3. So that maybe kind of explains why Gran Turismo in that generation kind of started to fall a little bit behind Forza in terms of what they were able to achieve. But that being said, Yamauchi-san is very confident about the PS4 now giving them the power of what it is they want to achieve, and that Gran Turismo Sport is something that we should be really excited for. And I am intrigued to see Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec is one of my favourite racing games of all time. So I'm really intrigued to see whether or not Sport will be a return to series. I hope it is. I really do. Moving on, we've got a new trailer for Street Fighter V, which you'll be seeing playing right here. This was a new cinematic story trailer, which kind of gives us a little bit of details of the upcoming update expansion that is coming to the game. So we see There's a trailer that sets up the conflict which brings the World Warriors together, and it turns out that M. Bison is up to no good. If you are a fan of Street Fighter, you will recognise that name. We see some of the characters that are famous to the Street Fighter series in this, like Chun-Li, Ren, and Ryu and Ken. But we know this is coming actually today. It should be available right now for you to download. This is a free update which brings more of a story into the game. We know that when Street Fighter V released, it was kind of missing quite a few features, and they have accepted that as well. So it's good to see that they are supporting it with expansions and with DLCs to hopefully improve the game. If you're a fan of the fighting genre, be sure to go check that out. And closing out the news for today and for the week, did you ever think that you owned a lot of video games? I myself consider to have quite a lot of video games. I've probably got about 50 PS4 games and probably about 25 or 30 Xbox One games, and had hundreds for the other generations. But that pales in comparison to a certain gentleman in Japan who currently owns more than half of the Steam library. Yeah, that's right. He owns over 5,000 games on Steam. Now, the current library, well, as of yesterday of this article, was sitting at 9,514. So that does mean he owns over half of the library. Absolutely crazy. It looks like that people have gifted him games, and he's also bought a load of them whenever they've been. He's bought the majority in the Steam sales, and it kind of seems to be this ongoing thing now over on NeoGAF and that he's going to just achieve as high a Steam score as possible. He's achieved over level 1,000. That means absolutely nothing to me, but I'm sure it means plenty to you guys out there who are Steam levelers. But I just thought it was absolutely incredible that one person not only owns 5,000 games, but has the time to play them as well. Anyone that says there's not enough games out there to play clearly hasn't experienced Steam PC yet. So there we go, there's just a fun little story to end the week. That is it for us for the news this week. Make sure you come back to check out our Let's Plays. Our FIFA video will be up later on today, and also come back next week for our review of Game of the Week show and everything like that. Let us know in the comments down below as well what you think of the new Pokemon. Are you excited for them like I am? What did you think about the comments for Gran Turismo? And also, are you excited for the new update to Street Fighter? Let us know down below. And also, how many games do you have on Steam? I'm pretty sure you don't have 5,000. So yes, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I will see you all next time.